In a recent video, I talked about the classic Get Your Free TVs map. Originally, we only had some test maps and drafts, but never the whole thing. Then, on Half-Life 2's 20th anniversary, Valve decided to upload the whole SIGGRAPH 2000 demo where they showcased that Free TVs demo, along with many others. And as of today, we now know what the map looked like, and now we have a very faithful recreation of it as well. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the rest of SIGGRAPH 2000. I personally think it's a great stepping stone in Half-Life 2's development, and it will give us a good idea of how far Valve had come between 1998 and 2000. So let's kick it off with the obvious question. What even is SIGGRAPH? SIGGRAPH is an acronym for Special Interest Group on Computer Graphics and Interactive Techniques. It's a mouthful, I know. SIGGRAPH has been around for quite a while now, with the first ever event happening back in 1971. It is held annually in North America where all sorts of companies, groups, researchers, and just talented people come together to showcase up-and-coming technology. There's also awards and recognition for the best of the best at the ceremony. There's also SIGGRAPH Asia, which primarily takes place in Asian countries. While I can't really summarize 51 years worth of demos and technology in a single video, I do want to give you an idea about what kind of stuff is shown here. Stuff like real-time face relighting. Now that's cool. The Nvidia demo about their at the time new Kepler tech, it had a fairy in it. And of course, Valve showcased Half-Life 2 there, which was running on Gold Source, but if Gold Source was on steroids. And then there's stuff like this. I'll give you 10 seconds to figure out what this is, okay? No? This is a hydrolophone. It's an instrument. Anyway, now that we have a rough idea of what SIGGRAPH is, let's get back to Half-Life 2. The SIGGRAPH 2000 demo starts off with the free TV section as I said earlier. There are a lot of things to note here, so let's get started on that. Right off the bat, we have the Half-Life 1 HUD, which is very obvious. At this point, the source engine wasn't the engine we know today, but rather an in-development engine that they based off of Gold Source most likely. Even when putting together the assets from the leaked files, the animations comparatively look much smoother. Here though, seems like they were still on the Half-Life 1 style of animations. Then there's no ragdoll either. Like Half-Life 1, the models use a pre-animated death sequence instead. A lot of people also pointed out that this car explosion is super awesome and nothing like that has been seen in the retail game or even the leaked files. Though there is a car explosion sequence in the sniper map, I'm not sure if that and this are the exact same animation. Yeah, animation, cause I'm skeptical about this being real-time physics. Here we have the recreation by the Project Beta team. As you can see, it is quite, if not one-to-one, similar to the SIGGRAPH video, especially in terms of the geometry around the map, the buildings, their textures, it all looks accurate. The sequences are the same too, and I like the explosion here. It's not exactly like the one in the demo, the original one, but it still looks nice. So after that, we have the tank sequence. This takes place in C17_01, albeit a very early version of it. Firstly, the tank itself is a unique element as we've seen tanks in the leaked map, such as the Street War chapter maps, but this one is the real deal. Then again, we see a car and a van explode. Not gonna lie, this is some very impressive particle work for the explosions. Another thing that stood out to me the first time I saw this was the weapon model and how it sways. In Half-Life 1, the weapons sway in this back and forth style, while in Half-Life 2 Retail, the weapon models have this physics-based sway where the weapon models move side to side slowly. Here though, we have an earlier SMG-1 model with no hands. Now, in the gravity gun video, I said that they originally wanted to have the leather suit's hands hold the fizz gun, because originally Gordon was supposed to wear this leather suit, but then they updated it to look like Half-Life 1 style HEV hands. Here I'm guessing at this point they had either just removed the leather suit hand textures and now we're in the process of making the new HEV suit hands that we would see in Half-Life 2. Comment down below if you want me to do a video on Gordon's hands and how they were evolved. Lamau. Similar to the Free TV's recreation map, here we have the recreation of the tank sequence map. There's not a whole lot to say about this. Again, the explosions on the vehicles look great and overall it just feels kinda strange that I'm able to somewhat experience the SIGGRAPH demo. Even if it is a fan-made recreation, it's just so accurate. And here you can see how this is an early version of the C17_01 map. Next up was the Arctic sequence. demo_Arctic, my beloved. Ever since I started making videos about the beta, this remains one of my all-time favorite maps from the leaked files, and I was so happy to learn that after all these years, they had actually shown off this map at SIGGRAPH 2000. This sequence must have been to showcase how displacements work in the then-in-development Source engine and how it could recreate somewhat realistic terrain and landscapes. Some people over the years have speculated that this map originally was going to be the first map of the game where the game started, but I honestly just think it was a demo map and nothing more. And here's the recreation. Demo_Arctic has always been in the leaked files, but I think it was only last year that we learned a bit more about it. Like I said earlier, the demo in the map's name most likely comes from the fact that this was shown off at SIGGRAPH, something that I don't think anybody was aware of. And here the skybox is called Sky_Spire, which refers to the cut location from the game, and it's something we'll talk about in the future. This sequence basically walks us through an earlier version of C17_04. A lot of the map looks pretty much the same, although there are some unique things to look at here too. The sounds that the scanners make, the skybox is something we don't have in the leaked files, the citizens walking animations, and of course the console cast, but it's not animated. The recreation is pretty much the map C17_04, although there are quite a lot of sounds missing here. This sequence shows off the engine's texture and shading capabilities. You can see specular lighting and how the textures reflect light, and then there's a close-up of the official citizen model. This is special because up till this point, we mostly had recreation based off of concept art. The map is demo_MatGallery01, which itself is based on an earlier version of Kleiner's lab. One thing I was surprised to see here was the Strider. I always thought that the Strider was a somewhat late in development kind of enemy, but turns out it was here almost since the beginning. And once again, here's the recreation of that map. You can see more clearly here what they wanted to show off in the SIGGRAPH demo, specifically the textures and the shaders on top of them. Keep in mind, this was 2000, and this was no doubt ahead of its time graphical tech. The last sequence is Barno. Basically, this is to demonstrate how the engine tackles facial expressions and lip syncing. All of this is done while Bernard spits lines from the original Half-Life. There were actually quite a few maps like these in the beta where a unique NPC is standing there, but that's the thing, I never understood why these maps existed till I saw this video. They were there to test the lip syncing and the facial expressions of the characters. Real cool shit, to be honest. And this Barney demo feels like a precursor to that G-Man demo that fans would see a few years later at E3 2003. We also have the Barno map in here, but he doesn't say any of the lines that he does in the demo. The original one, that is. And that's pretty much it for this one. I wanted to talk about the SIGGRAPH demo ever since Valve declassified it. There's some really awesome stuff to look at, and a lot of stuff that we uncovered. Like how the maps looked, how the animations were like, what maps existed at that point in 2000, and this skybox. It looks familiar. Doesn't it look like... No, it can't be. Gabe, what have you done? Surely it can't be.
One other mysterious skybox that I'm genuinely curious to find more about is Sky_Herb01, a skybox that was used in more than 100 maps. A lot of the concept art that you've seen uses maps as their base, and those maps use Sky_Herb as its skybox. But what does it actually look like? Well, I don't know.
I need to talk about Sky_Herb01.